What's up, people? What is good? What is going on? This is your man, Real Deal, Steele, coming to you live on this late Sunday evening. Thank you for joining me on this extra late show. I was going to skip the day, but I thought I'd put together a show anyway and just get some important information out there and connect with you guys and just let you know what's on my mind and what's going on with the Doge-centric news cycle. There's definitely some interesting things to discuss, and I've been getting a lot of questions. About what's going on. So we will definitely tackle that. Also, if you haven't hit that like button, if you could just take a moment to do that, it really does help, guys. It takes a split second of your time. It doesn't cost you a dime. Also, if you are new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. You are watching Steele Live. I am Steele, and we are glad to have you. Feel free to join our eccentric little community here. You simply just hit that subscribe button, hit all on that notification bell, and watch the magic happen, baby, on our ascendance to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Who do we got in the chat? We've got Larry Ramirez, Abstractus Artemis. We got RW. We got Crypto Tank Girl, Slay Blaze, Hump Deezy. The list goes on. Louis Doge Millie, welcome. And I'm sure some more of our fellow community members will be joining us shortly. If you feel compelled to super chat anywhere throughout the duration of this episode, that's obviously hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put forth. Feel free to ask myself or my esteemed co-host this evening, whatever you like, and we'll field those to the best of our ability. Without any further ado, I'd like to bring on my special guest co-host for the night. He hasn't been around these parts for a bit, but it's glad to have him back. It is none other than Uncle Chad, a.k.a. Chad Paxton. How you doing, Chad? Can you hear us, sir?
Buddy,
there he is. Good, man. Good to hear from you. Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a bit since we've had you back on. Obviously, a lot has transpired since then, and right. And right now we are in the middle of what by any definition would be considered a bear market. There's been a lot of kind of hysterics surrounding this, but two things come to mind, Chad. Number one, this is really not outside of the realm of normalcy in terms of when we look at cyclically what the crypto market has done over the last 4 years. I mean, they've called it Red September. Those of us who've been around a bit know this, but those who are a little bit newer to cryptocurrency, maybe in a year or less, are unfamiliar with this time of year in that regard. And two, the Chinese government FUD, here they are making a stink about a full crypto ban yet again. This is something that's also not out of the ordinary that we've seen time and time again. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's just the market. I mean, It's not just Doge that's going down. It's Bitcoin went down. Ethereum's at 2,800. A lot of crypto's going down, and even the stock market went down. A lot of things people panic sell, and when you have the Evergrande thing that's going on in China, and a few months ago the Bitcoin thing, and then the banning, and then it being legalized banned, people freak out. And to me, I think it's just a correction that's been waiting to happen. Doge really isn't dropping too hard. It's shown its stability recently when it's dropped down, to 19 cents, 18 cents, even all the way down to 16 cents.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago. But it seems to come back. It can't crack. And that's community driven. And there's a lot of people invested in crypto. And we've always said this, you and I and Nick and everybody else that talks about Doge in these Twitter spaces. You got to get past the Fomo part from January to February, because that's not happening yet. If you want those lottery tickets, you can go to those altcoins on BSC and take your chances with them.
Right.
If not, you got to understand this crypto market is in infancy stages, and we just got to give it time. Organically, it's got to grow. You can't have massive spikes because it'll just end up dipping. We need nice organic growth, slow, and that will prove its worth and its stake and its proof of work for it to be an alternative currency out there.
Yeah, yeah. I like the way you worded that. You know, when you zoom out and you look at what the market's been doing over 6 months plus at a time, you do see a very consistent story. You do see a very consistent narrative. And that is one of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And what we're experiencing right now is nothing more than our 1 step back. And I like what you said there earlier about, some basically alluding to what I always call healthy retracements. You know,
Exactly right.
Right. The crypto market is no exception to gravity. So what goes up must come down. So we don't want these super unanswered rises in market value where it just keeps going and going and going, because 9 times out of 10 we always know what comes after that, right? So just as long as the overall trajectory is one that's positive, that's generally going in the right direction, I feel pretty solid about where we're at. You know, I made a little short. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, five months into it, we got teased with 71 cents.
Right.
We got teased, and we've been pushing for $1, and it'll get there eventually. But it's such infancy stages. You know, when it gets to that level, people pull their profits out, which I don't blame.
Right.
I do. I pulled my profits out once, paid off my house, my truck, my credit cards. I'm debt free. And I sold all my gains in ADA, and I bought 2 houses 3 weeks ago that I'm waiting to close on. I bought my dream house in town, and I bought a lake house on Lake Leanne. All from ADA gains, ETH gains, and I sold all my Tesla stock. Because it was over $700. I bought it at $210. So it's okay to take your gains. You got to at least get your initial investment out of it. But 5 months into it, when you get teased with 71 cents, people go like, all right, this is going to go over $1. So they bought in. And a lot of those people bought in high.
Right.
And a lot of this toxicity and negativity going around Twitter and all these other rooms is people just freaking out, and they're pissed. And Doge hasn't gotten to $1 yet. We always said Doge would get there at about the end of the year, end of first quarter next year. It might get stagnant around $1.25. It might drop back down to 90 cents, 80 cents, 70 cents, whatever it is. But that is normal correction that occurs in every market across the globe. And people need to understand that and retrace their investment strategy from short-term gains, FOMO, to long-term YOLO. Period.
I love that. Short-term FOMO, or change it from short-term YOLO to from short-term FOMO to long-term YOLO. I like that, Chad. I think you raise a really good point there too, wherein, I mean, these are societal trends within the crypto culture that you and I have been pretty astute and aware of during our duration involved in it. And that's one wherein there's a sharp increase in, just unnecessary drama, and it kind of turns into this, can anyway, in certain circles, turn into this circular firing squad when the market's not doing well. And it usually is always, there's always a pattern of more of that kind of stuff happening when the market isn't doing so well. When the market's screaming along, much of that kind of stuff really dissipates significantly, which I think is an interesting observation.
Well, just getting into it now too. I mean, we started nine months ago when the FOMO hit, and a lot of people make a lot of money. We're 9 months into it, and it's gaining traction. It's gaining notability.
Right.
It's gaining celebrityism.
Right.
More people are getting on board. They're buying into it. So you have more people involved in this crypto sphere, and the more people you have, obviously, is going to result in, those things that we see occur on a daily basis when the market's not doing well. If you watch media and you watch all these stock advisors on CNBC and Squawk Box and all that stuff, when the market's down, those guys are freaking out on TV too. They're like deer in headlights. But when it's doing good, everybody's happy. So it's just normal, in my opinion. I've been in the banking industry for over 30 years. It's normal and we are in such an infancy stage with cryptocurrency right now. And I think the next biggest thing that's going to impact the crypto sphere
Hmm.
is this lawsuit with Ripple. I think Ripple will win this lawsuit.
Yes,
I think
yes.
we'll have a clear, defined understanding of what the SEC and the IRS, even though they've already defined it, is
Hmm.
going to define whether this is currency, property, asset, what have you. And
Hmm.
I think they're going to win this case. I think that's going to be the next big hoop. The AMC thing was great, but we got to give these guys time to build this thing.
Right.
It's not like turning on a light switch. And that's why I posted out there, you should reach out to Mark Cuban because he's already doing this with BitPay. So it's not, or don't overthink it, CEO Adam. Don't overthink it. Just reach out to the people who are already utilizing it, implement it when you can, and it's a smart time to do it. And before Christmas is a good time to do it because that's when the movies are out. But then you got to think about COVID. Are they going to be wide open? Are people going to go? Are they going to be vaccinated or not vaccinated? Not to get political on this, but that impacts how people spend their money. Are they going to
Hmm.
stay home or are they going to go out and watch movies? So we
Hmm.
got to just give this time to grow organically, and it'll be fine. Just give it more time.
Yeah, yeah. I think you raised some really valid points there. I too think that Ripple will remain or will be victorious in this ongoing lawsuit with the SEC. With each and every passing day, we are seeing the SEC's case against Ripple dwindle, at holes in it, and it's revealing itself to be quite flimsy, frankly. And I think Ripple is positioned very well in that right now. It's one of these things too where one of the things that's not readily reflected in the market value of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Doge. And I've been watching. I don't know how close you've been paying attention to this stuff. I imagine you look at a lot of the resources that I do, Chad. There's been this is something I've been talking about a lot over this last week, particularly. There's been an extraordinary amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum in particular that's been getting hoarded and purchased and moved onto cold wallets. And what's really interesting is to see the amounts of Bitcoin and Ethereum that's being purchased and stored off of exchanges at the same time we're seeing the markets, the market values dip on those two currencies. So these two things are happening simultaneously. I kind of see what's happening now with, particularly now that things are shaping up so nicely for Dogecoin and with a couple obvious dynamics we've all heard about this week, along with all this hoarding and storing that's going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I really think that we're kind of in the middle of a pressure cooker right now. And sooner or later, the other shoe's got to drop here, Chad. And I think we're going to see a bull run, perhaps to the likes that we haven't seen in a while. Your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, in my opinion, we are at our low.
Yeah.
And it's already reached 71 cents, so that's our all-time high. It can get there again. And things have to occur. It's like the stars have to align. It's like, Ethereum 2.0 needs to come out. The bridging with Doge needs to come out. AMC implements, not just talks about it, but implements accepting Doge.
Right.
Then you got a major corporation that does that. Then maybe Tesla comes out and says, all right, we will now accept Doge. We got to get more people running nodes, get these fees down, because right now it's one Doge. If we can get it down to 0.01, everybody's going to want to be utilizing Doge as opposed to store of value currency like Bitcoin.
Right.
And then you got first quarter 2022. We're launching Doge into space, paid by Doge. Elon's putting more satellites in space. More satellites in space means more internet access to rural areas and third world countries. All they need is a cell phone. And now they don't even have to worry about being unbanked because there's 1.5 billion people that are unbanked, have no access to banks. They can P2P, person to person, peer to peer, however you want to call it. with a phone, internet access, and cryptocurrency. And I
Yes.
think Doge will be the one in the market. And those are a lot of big items I just mentioned. And then you got XRP, Ripple's law. All these things come into play in the next 6 to 9, 12 months. I mean, there is no sky's the limit. I mean, there's no limit. Period. We
Yeah.
just got these people time, these intelligent people that are designing these bridges and designing these smart contracts. And you got NFT going with like wildfire everywhere. If you could buy an NFT with Dogecoin, it'd be great. That's going to occur. But you got to give these guys time to get this created and to get it out there correctly. Then once you have all this going around and all these things start occurring, specifically with the Ripple lawsuit, Tesla accepting and AMC accepting, now you got two major corporations that are in challenging that Doge is an alternative currency and can be utilized versus fiat, and use it sophisticatedly, cleanly, environmentally safe, cheap fees, fast transactions, and it's smart contracting, so you got proof everywhere. And guess what? Now you're going to start getting all these merchants that put their products on the shelves of these big box places like Amazon or Walmart or Target or Costco or whatever you may call it. Those are the merchants we need to touch with, not the companies themselves, the merchants that are putting their products on these shelves. And they need to tell these companies, I want to put my product on Amazon, and I want you to allow me to accept Dogecoin or crypto or whatever it may be. When those people start telling these companies to do it, or they refuse to put their products on the shelf, that's when things are going to start occurring. And the AMC lawsuit and Tesla accepting Doge, those three things, when they come together and get implemented, I think is the game changer that we've all been waiting for. And I think the bull market will occur just before we start seeing that happening.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty... I think the order in which you suggest that this is going to happen is the most likely scenario. Beef Supreme starting things off.
I know. I'm brilliant.
Beef Supreme starting things off with the first super chat of the night. Appreciate that, Beef Supreme. Beef Supreme, haven't seen you in a while. Wonder what happened to you. Wondered if you dropped off. So great to see you back in the mix. Great to see you back, bringing that big Doge energy back into the chat room. I know everyone else is probably is happy to see you back too. Press 6-9 for the Doge surge. Of course, a lot of people pressing 6-9 now. Sign me up, man. Sign me up. I'm ready. I think we are all beyond ready for that. It's one of these things. Go ahead.
Doge had in your chat room had 700,000 Doge at 0.0003 from May of 2020, and he sold it at a penny. Well, two things there. One, ouch. Two, sounds like you still made a lot of money.
Right.
You dropped 3 zeros when you got to a penny. I mean, that's still a lot of money, but you should have held on longer. But you should have also taken at least your initial investment. So I hope you bought back in, buddy, because it's still not stopping.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. And if, hindsight's always 20/20, of course. But I don't know why you sold all your Doge and not just a portion of it or a chunk of it.
He said he paid his bills and bought a new car.
But everyone's got different financial situations. Maybe you're in dire straits and you just really were in a pickle and just needed to make things happen. So,
I bought a jet ski, paid off my mortgage, paid off my truck and my credit cards. But then I bought whatever I pulled out. It went down the next day, and I bought right back in the same amount I pulled out. So I've only sold Doge once, and that was back at 67 cents.
Ah, right.
But I didn't sell it all. I just sold enough to pay off all my bills.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting like a king.
Yeah. That sounds like a pretty smart way of doing it. My perspective on that stuff is I don't think anybody owes anybody any explanations. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. That's right. Free will. Everyone's got a different set of circumstances. And who are we to judge people's different circumstances or different reasoning for why they're holding or why they're selling or whatever. You know, the best attitude, in my opinion, Chad, to have towards fostering and encouraging the expansion of Dogecoin, expansion of the Doge community is, you know, be welcoming. Don't be overly critical of people. Don't be overly judgmental of people. Let people come in, whether Dogecoin is 5% of their portfolio or 100% of their portfolio. Just let them mix it up with us and have a good time. What do you say?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I've always said, you've heard me say this a million times. The moment this doesn't become fun for me anymore is the moment I exit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and right now it's on the edge. You know, it's not financially causing me this distress. It's toxicity in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And all communities go through this. So yeah. I'm wading out the river. Mm-hmm. But you should take your profits. You should invest based on what you can afford to invest on. Don't bet your rent money and the money you got to use to buy food for your kids if you can't afford it, hoping it's going to go up a dime. Just stay out of the market. Wait till you're financially set, at least to be able to pay your bills and you can put money aside. My point is if you've got enough money, expenditure money that you can set aside instead of putting in a bank, take a little bit of it and invest in something like Dogecoin or any crypto. We need to be welcoming to all cryptocurrency because the first one out the gate opens the door for all of us. So I don't have a problem with any cryptocurrency out there. I have a lot of problems with tokens and ones that are created because of FOMO and people are getting rug pulled. And they offer these great options, but you got to pay 10% in, 10% out. Oh, but you get half of that in back to your portfolio, whether you buy or sell. It's just, to me, it's a lottery ticket, and you can bet those if you want. It's probably a better bet than it is to buy a regular lottery ticket, I would assume. So it's okay to do that. I just don't want it all over my feed because I don't like seeing people lose money. We've gone through it with Upcoin. We've gone through it with SafeMoon's down. Rise is down. You know, they're Rise, but the only thing it's doing is going down. So it's the wrong direction, folks. But can they come back? Yes. All of them can. SafeMoon can go way up too. I mean, they got over 2 million holders. I just don't believe in their utility is a measure that people are going to, companies, corporations, or countries want to adopt because of the expensive process and procedures. You know, they promised wallets, and those didn't come out, and then they got screwed up. And then there's so many things that can go wrong. That's why 98% of these tokens fail. But find a project that you like, look into it, join these chat spaces, come listen to my man Steele, pay attention, verify, then trust. Don't trust and verify. Verify first, then trust what you hear. Got to take it with a grain of salt, and then make your own educated decision. You got to have skin in the game to do this. You got to play around with it and get used to wallets and all these different exchanges and hard wallets and cold wallets. You just got to play around it with a little bit of money here and there until you find one that you can use that you're comfortable with. Then start playing around with Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap, Cake Swap, all these other swaps if you want to get into the lottery side of this business. There's people that are making a lot of money out there, but most of them are the early investors, devs, and creators.
Right.
Then you got people with big money that come in as whales, and if you look at every one of these, SafeMoon, Rise, etc., once they reach a certain price point, a whale is going to soon sell and get their profits. And if it's a big enough whale, it's going to cause a big ripple effect in the price of these BSC tokens. And you see it happening every day. The largest whale from what we know with Doge was Barry back on May 8th. And it brought Doge way down. But guess what? Within 48 hours, the community brought it right back to where it started from on the day he went on Saturday Night Live. So one whale on Doge can't crash it. Even the one biggest whale with 36 billion coin, that is Robinhood, period. It's no single individual. Robinhood has to put all these coins into a place that all their clients purchased because they didn't have wallets. They have to hold it somewhere. That's what that wallet is. And now that they're going to come out with wallets, that's going to open up the market too. When Robinhood starts generating wallets next month, it's going to be in a test phase. And probably by first quarter into first quarter, it'll be full rollout. But they got to test. And they're putting out education videos with it on how to use their wallets, how to buy, sell, and trade with their wallet, which is the right thing to do. We had to give them time. I've always told everybody they weren't coming out with wallets till they finished with their IPO, which is exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Now they're done with that. They're set. They're coming out with wallets because they've heard us. I don't necessarily like Vlad and the way they handled the GameStop and AMC piece. I think they screwed him. I think they're going to get in trouble for that too. But they're still the ones that brought Doge to the market globally for a lot of people.
Yeah. I want to dovetail on what you said there. I want to get to the super chat. Mary in New York, thank you again, Mary. Appreciate you and good to see you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. She says, does your guest agree with Nick Balls that Doge prediction in the $180.83 range or so? So what she's talking about is Nick, according to Nick's opinion and technical analysis, he seems to think that Doge to $1.80 within the next 12-month duration of bull runs is a high probability. Your thoughts, Chad?
I think it's higher. I think it's much higher. Mm-hmm. If all these stars align, Ripple wins the suit. AMC gets their shit together and they start accepting. Tesla comes out and says they're accepting. That runs for a few months. Then next year, first quarter, we launch to space. We get more satellites in the sky. SEC regulation in favor of the cryptocurrency market comes out. If all these things align, I see Doge over $10, $20, $30.
Oh my goodness.
Not soon, but I think it can get there. And even Papa Nick, one of the devs, brought that up months ago. We bring the value of Doge based on how we want it. I think realistically, $1.20 to $1.80, by the first half of next year, maybe third quarter, is absolutely feasible. But 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now, this thing could be the absolute global alternative currency to the fiat. Mm-hmm. If all the stars align correctly. Mm-hmm. It just depends on everybody's individual strategy on what they're in this for. I want to be 95% fiat free within 5 years. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to have cash on hand, but I want to be able to pay for my goods and services with fiat or with cryptocurrency, specifically Doge. Mm-hmm. And I think I will be able to get there within 5 years. And I think one of the reasons for that are all of these things that we're waiting to still happen are going to happen. I think every one of the things that we've talked about will absolutely happen. We just need to give them time to get there. And when they get there, like I said, there is no sky's the limit. There's no limit. The community decides the value of this token, of this cryptocurrency. We decide how much it's worth. We got to start moving it around. We can't just be hodlers. We got to show that this coin is an actual currency, which means tip people, donate, buy things from the people that accept Doge. There's a whole list that I've sent out recently, and I can retweet it out, of a bunch of companies that accept Doge. Before you go buying a t-shirt or socks or shoes or hats on Amazon, check out these web pages and see if you can spend your Doge on it. Mm-hmm. That way we're not selling it back to the market, causing a dip, and then someone buys it and then it goes back up. We're keeping it out of the market. Someone owns it and it's being maneuvered around. It's showing proof of stake, proof of work. It's being utilized as a currency. That's what's going to get all these other people interested that want their products on shelves and going to ask for cryptocurrency. We got to show that it works and it's safe. And once we do that, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. I don't think $1.80 within the next 12-month duration is out of the question by any means. I would say my predictions are always a little, usually skew a bit more conservatively than Nick, but I would say I would put $1.80 within the next 12 months into moderate high to high range, as far as I'm concerned. Chad,
I agree.
There's definitely some people in the chat that have been expressing, and this isn't just exclusive to the chat, I've been seeing this all over lately, expressing a lot of anxiety to the current value of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's very low right now. We are still living in Bitcoin dominance in terms of the general market trends and how it behaves. To me, I'm not only not terribly concerned about this, but I've actually been taking advantage of this, and I've been waiting for the right entry point to accumulate more Bitcoin, because I don't have enough for my tastes, to kind of just round out my portfolio a bit more. What are your thoughts on the current state of Bitcoin and the future of it?
It's China driven.
Yep.
Boom. That's it. It's all China driven. 67% of the miners of Bitcoin were out of China. And it's going to take 9 months, and it's been 6. So we got 3, 4, 5 more months before all those miners get reset up somewhere else. And when they get set up, it doesn't change the hash rate. It just changes the speed of it.
Yeah.
It's scarcity. It won't ever be completely mined until 2140. We'll all be dead by then. But Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. People are taking profits, or they're moving it off exchanges and put it in cold wallets.
Yep.
People are still buying it.
Yep.
A lot of people can't afford one full Bitcoin. I've been fortunate enough. Now I own 3.
Yeah.
And that's all from gains from other crypto, specifically Doge and ADA and Ethereum. And I won't ever use my Bitcoin to go buy a cup of coffee or a movie ticket. It's store of value. It's digital gold to me. Mm-hmm. Ethereum is the bridge, smart contracts. Doge, XRP, ADA, all that other stuff, those to me are actual cryptocurrencies that can be utilized. VET, VT, VTHO, all these things, HBAR. There's just 1,000 of them out there. From a Bitcoin perspective, though, I believe by the end of the year it'll be worth over 80 grand up to 100. And in 2024, when its next halving occurs, and they drop to 6% for the rewards for the miners, it's going to be between $500,000 to $1 million a pop.
And when are you predicting that?
2024.
Wow.
That's the next halving. So it's 3 years away. That's a very short time for investment. I've been investing for 20 years at JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah.
And when I retired last year at age 50, I moved 70% of my investment portfolio into crypto, and my investment portfolio was tripled in 8 months. It took me 20 years to get where I got. I moved 70% of it over, and now my total net worth is tripled.
Right.
And I'm 51 years old, and I'm retired, and I own 3 houses outright, no mortgages.
Hmm.
So I'm living proof that it can occur.
Yeah.
Got to give it time.
So just to clarify, you're predicting $500,000 Bitcoin by 2024?
After the next halving, I believe Bitcoin will be between 500 grand to $1 million.
Wow.
And there's a lot of experts out there that agree with me.
Oh, I know.
Check Pomp.
No.
Anthony Pomp's a big a corporate for Bitcoin. I'm not a maxi on Bitcoin. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's still got old technology.
Right.
It's outdated. And they're going to fix that. Got to give them time.
Right. Yeah, the one thing, and they will make it more efficient, and Lightning's already a part of that, but the Lightning Network's already a part of that with Bitcoin.
Yep.
The one thing their advancements in that regard can't fix, though, is it's very hard limited cap, which has destined Bitcoin to keep becoming a scarcity with each and every passing day, limited scarcity, which by default has evolved it into this sort of digital gold. I think that people are hoarding and buying up Bitcoin a lot more than people realize. A lot more than people realize right now. And
9,000,000%. I agree. It's
man,
everywhere. I am too.
yeah, yep. And when you consider how much people are actually hoarding and holding behind the scenes, these estimations of 500,000 to 1,000,000 within the next couple of years doesn't seem to be so far-fetched, and it sounds ridiculous, but
It was ridiculous in 2013 when the guy sold it at 8 cents and it went to $8 on him. And he bought it at 0.003. It was ridiculous when it went to $1,000. It was ridiculous when it went to 5,000, 8,000, 12,000, 61,000.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me it can't happen. Nobody can.
No, I think that's...
I believe it in my heart. 2024, if you don't own one Bitcoin, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah. It's one of these things where, no matter, regardless of how you feel about Bitcoin, we are still living under the Bitcoin dominance with the market overall. So when people often ask what's wrong with Dogecoin, I say, Bitcoin is what's wrong with Dogecoin.
All of crypto follows Bitcoin and Ethereum. When it drops, it drops. You see maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week, you'll see different chart changes between Doge and Ethereum and Bitcoin. But in general, 80% of the time, every time Bitcoin goes up, so does Doge. Every time it goes down, so does Doge. And all currency generally follows it. And that's just a bunch of people out there taking profits and then buying another type of crypto.
Right.
They're either coming out of Doge and going into Bitcoin, or coming out of Bitcoin because they made a bunch of money and they're buying more Doge, or vice versa. Or they're doing the same with Ethereum. Or now they're thinking about XRP because of the lawsuits getting close.
Right.
And they're thinking they're going to win. And they're seeing ADA. I bought ADA at under a penny, and it went to $2.40 last week.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks ago, and I sold it all, every penny of it, and I'm buying back in now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I know that Nick has been accumulating a lot of ADA lately. But
I sold $442,000 worth, and I bought 2 houses at $440,000.
Holy smokes! Yeah, I saw one of your houses posted online. So congrats on that. What's your opinion now on who do you think has the more bullish future between XRP or ADA?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, I believe it's XRP.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a massive spike once it comes out of their legal issues.
Yeah.
ADA is just going to be ADA. Cardona and those guys are they're smart. The creators are smart, but they got to figure out cryptocurrency as a whole first, and they got to make a utility purpose for it that people truly want, and they got to differentiate themselves from other cryptos. It can't be ADA as an alternative fiat, Doge is an alternative fiat, XRP is alternative fiat, because then you got 3 massive competitors. But I think you're going to have ADA that's going to be more smart contracting. I think XRP is going to be more tokenomics to vote, and possibly used as an alternative currency. One country may not like Doge, and then next thing you know, the whole continent of Africa says we're going to take XRP. Well, that changes the whole dynamic of everything. Look at El Salvador. They chose Bitcoin. Well, what if it doesn't choose Bitcoin, or they choose Doge? So it's just a matter of how all of these things that are waiting to occur become aligned and actually come into play. And it's going to be the coin that's got the fastest transaction comparable to a Visa transaction. or a MasterCard transaction, the cheapest fees that can be smart contracted in the blockchain. So you've got lifetime proof of every transaction, and it's got to be smooth and easy to do. The first person that makes it easy for one button push and you're done, like Apple Pay, is the first person that's going to be massive.
Trucking All Day coming in with a $5 super chat. What do you think of fan tokens, UCH in particular? I don't know a lot I don't know a lot about them, Trucking All Day, but from what I do know, I think UCH is associated with a soccer team, right? Like a soccer team coin.
Like one day it's 7,000%, and then the same thing that Robinhood occurred, that they stopped trading and people lost a bunch of cash, but it drove right back down. Those are tokens for fans to buy merchandise for a soccer team. So I think we're out of the boat there.
You think what?
I don't think you should invest in it. If you're not a freaking fan of that soccer team and going to buy their shit, pardon my language, I would stay away from it.
Now, if you are a fan, and worst case scenario, those tokens are going to be good for tickets or gear, then it's kind of a more of a fail safe for you. But other than that, Trucking All Day, I would chalk that up to what I say overall on these sorts of investments is, high risk, high reward. Keep a close eye on it. If you do engage, just know what you're getting yourself into. Don't be afraid to pull your profits on what you perceive to be is at the top or not even at the top. Just don't be afraid to pull your profits and just keep it moving. Just keep it moving. So that's about the best advice I can give on that stuff. My guest, a few people are asking, my guest tonight is Uncle Chad, a.k.a. Chad Paxton. Maybe he's distantly related to the great late Bill Paxton. Who knows? But he is with us here. I go back with Chad towards my very beginning, just the very beginning stages of doing content creation and things like that. And we met really early on during the initial kind of Doge revolution when things were super, super exciting. Not that they're not exciting now, but sideways trading has a way of shaking out a lot of people and cooling things off. Speaking of which, one thing I've always liked about you, Chad, is you keep things in perspective, and that's what I try to do here when I come to the show night after night. Keep things in perspective. Keep people encouraged. Keep people's eye on the full picture. Not get too caught up in whether it's day-to-day BS drama on social media.
I don't know how you do it every day. Jesus Christ, I could do this every single day. I found it less stressful when I stopped looking at the 1, 3, 5, 15-minute charts. I look at one-day charts now. And I barely look at the chart once a week.
Right.
I wake up in the morning, I'll check to see if something occurred on Doge, and then I'm done for the day.
Right.
And I jump on Twitter, and I watch my movies, and then I do yard work, and I live. Now it's winter time, so I'm going to be stuck in the house, but I'm moving into 2 new houses, so I'm going to be spending a lot of time decorating and moving and closing all that crap over the next couple months. But I don't know how you do this every single day. It's very time consuming and it's impressive. And you always seem to be honest and upfront, and everything you say is not advice, it's an opinion, and people should take it as that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I'm more. It is a lot of work, but I enjoy it most of the time anyway. One of the things is I see my role here. I think it's important to keep the troops rallied, right? Keep some pep in their step, whether things are up or down or sideways, and that's why it's kind of a talk show format, because we don't always exclusively just talk about cryptocurrency, the charts, and Dogecoin. I mean, you can't if you're on as long as I am for as often as I am. But it does provide a place for people to come together and be of an encouragement to each other. And that really can have some. I tell people in this community, don't underestimate the power of a small, focused, positive community. We experienced that, Chad, kind of indirectly through this show. I think it was I'd say about 3 months ago now, wherein I just started getting really rallied up out of nowhere. Or the more I was thinking about this AMC thing, I was like, we got to bring this back. We got to try to put this at the forefront of the conversation again. So I just started talking a lot about it here on the show, started making some videos about it. People in the community were getting pretty amped about it. And then I started tweeting a lot about it. And then lo and behold, then Elon Musk liked one of my tweets saying that, advocating for Dogecoin and AMC to come together and do business. And that be consequentially to Elon liking that tweet, then it dominated the news cycle for the next 72 hours, right? And so that kind of just started on this little show right here, So
the power of the community is amazing, because if you look at and you think that your voice isn't being heard, you're not paying attention. You're not educating yourself, because when legislation started getting written by people that didn't know anything about cryptocurrency, we spoke up. And then amendment after amendment after amendment started getting attached to that legislation. Then what happened? We were bombarding our representatives at the state level that represent us in Congress with demanding our voice to be heard. And legislation after legislation, amendment after amendment got attached. They finally killed the bill that nobody liked because it was taking away competition and it wasn't rewarding miners, and they didn't have the terminology accurate. And they killed the bill and said, look, we need to sit down, rewrite this the smart way, and we need to have experts in the room to teach us. Because Elizabeth Warren, as much as I liked her when she was part of the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau after the 2008 market crash, when she headed that for a while, she did a great job of that. But she knows jack shit about cryptocurrency. But she knows more about it than most of those old fuckers, pardon my French, in legislation. These people don't know this crap, and they need to be trained and taught. You look at the news cycles. 8 months ago, we heard Bitcoin and Ethereum maybe once a week. Now it's in every single segment, talked about 15 minutes every segment, 8 times a day, including Doge, Ethereum, and XRP. It's completely part of the stock market segment in the media now.
Right.
And that's because our voices were heard. And they're starting to educate themselves. They don't look like a deer in headlights when they talk about it no more. They're bringing on smart people that know what they're talking about. I mean, the head of the SEC taught cryptocurrency at MIT. That man knows what he's talking about. And anybody says he doesn't is just not educating themselves. They're not paying attention to this stuff. It's not him, though. It's legislation has to occur. And that comes from voting from the House and the Senate and getting a bill passed. And our voices can be heard because we've killed a bill with it, and we can make a bill with it. So if you don't pay attention and you don't educate yourself, you don't have enough skin in the game to worry about it, and you're just chasing gains. If you're chasing gains, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you truly believe in the utility of Doge and these other cryptocurrencies, on what their intended purpose is for, as an alternative to fiat, so you get rid of third parties, get rid of all the fees and transactions that come with third parties when you buy a house or buy a car, and not understanding blockchain. You just got to educate yourself. Blockchain, to me, in the simplest form that I can explain it, is like a bank statement. And each page of that bank statement is the equivalent of one block in each one of these blockchains. That's how a blockchain is. It's a full bank statement, and then each page is each block.
Yeah, I think that's really well stated there. Someone in the chat was asking you, Chad, do you still trade stocks?
Oh, yeah. I'm big in cannabis right now. And I'm glad I got into it. I told everybody to get into this 4 or 5 months ago. The House just passed the Safe Banking Act, which will allow some dispensaries and farmers to utilize the banking system for lending and borrowing so they can expand their business. Right now, all they do is pay a bunch of money to a bunch of security guards to sit on all the cash that they have. And I buy in, I'm in Sundial, I'm in Canopy Growth, I'm in Aurora, I'm in Tilray, 4 or 5 of the big ones, and then I'm in maybe 10 or 12 of the very small ones in the stock market, less than $1 or at least under $1.50. The reason I do that is because when this finally gets changed, where they decriminalize it and change its status from a Schedule 1 drug, these big Canadian like Tilray or Canopy Growth or these UK companies that are massive are going to come in and sweep in and buy these small companies just to get into the American market.
Right.
And when they do that, and if you watch the stock, the company that's buying the company, their stock value goes down. But the company that's getting bought by these conglomerates, their stock market skyrockets. So I like being in all the small ones because they're going to get eaten up. And that's what they're waiting for. They want to be bought out. They want that $1 billion price tag. And many of them are going to want to stay in the business and be part of the transition to the new company that purchases them. But many of them just want out. And then they're going to want to start to own on the side when the U.S. decriminalizes it. So that's why I'm heavy into stock. I sold all my Tesla and some of my Ethereum along with all my ADA to buy these 2 houses, but I'm back in ADA. I'm not going to buy Tesla again unless it drops below 700. But I'm in GM, Ford, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo. I'm in Amazon and Apple. Everything beyond that is all cannabis.
Gotcha. If you had to pick one of those that you just mentioned there, that you think's going to
Tilray.
What one?
Tilray cannabis.
Oh, okay. Yep. So that's where you see what you're most bullish about of your stock portfolio right now?
That's where I see I have the biggest opportunity for gains.
Yep.
But again, it's all going to be based on legislation for decriminalization of cannabis.
Right.
It's going to occur, just whether it occurs in 18 months versus 5 years.
Sure.
Depends on who gets elected the next president. I don't think it'll happen in this term. And Republicans aren't really big on cannabis. Democrats are. So, if we don't control the House or the Senate, that's going to put a hinder on it. So we might have to wait another 4 years for the next president, or the next 2 years for the next voting legislation for the House and Senate.
Well, I would think that we should be at a point now wherein there should be a pretty hefty bipartisan effort towards full legalization of it on a medical level, at least.
It's even at the medical level, it's still 51-49. But again, this is what happens in Congress. They could introduce a bill that has nothing to do with cannabis, and they'll start trading favors. Say, look, I'm not going to vote for your bill unless you vote to not legalize cannabis. And then the horse trading occurs just to get one bill by. So it's got to be a specific bill designated just about this with no amendments attached to it. And they at least have to have their economic checkbook balanced, make sure the government doesn't shut down and there's enough debt and the debt ceiling's right and the taxes are right before any other types of bills get through. Otherwise, it's all these little small time bills that get through, but nothing major is occurring because they're holding it hostage. And that's what happens when you have a nonpartisan legislation group. Yeah.
Someone asked earlier in the chat where was it here? I got to scroll up a little bit. Asked if I had $1K to invest. Oh no, if you guys had $1K to invest in crypto, would you wait for it to dip more, and what would you invest in? I'll let you take that one first.
I think it's all low right now. Right now, $1,000.
Yeah,
I'm putting it in Ethereum or Bitcoin.
Same. If I had
I'm not buying any more Doge because I have over 3 million Doge. My bag's full.
right.
And when it hits $1 or $1.80 or whatever it hits, I will sell 50% of it, and then I will keep 50% for daily transactions. And then if I need to buy more, I will buy more, just so I can be fiat free. But right now, all three of those, including XRP, I don't look at the price. I look at the potential percentage of gain it can grow. Because that's all that really matters. You put $100 in Bitcoin, $100 in Ethereum, and $100 in Doge, guess what you have? You have $300. You don't have as many Bitcoin, or you don't have as many Ethereum as you do Dogecoin, but you still only have $100 worth. One Dogecoin is worth one Dogecoin. One Ethereum is worth one Ethereum. One Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin. Right. And even though you're buying fractions of Bitcoin, who cares? You buy fractions of things all the time. But if you buy a fraction of Bitcoin, but it has an 8% increase, and you buy one Ethereum and it only goes up 4%, you made more money in the fractional Bitcoin than you did in the full Ethereum. Because it's the percentage of gain, that a probability that really drives your gains. It's not the physical price of it. It's how much more movement can you see it go? And I see Bitcoin reaching that $500,000 to $1 million mark after the next halving. And people always ask me, as it relates to Ethereum and Bitcoin, do you think Ethereum is going to eventually outrun Bitcoin? And my answer is simply this. I think what is more probable than Ethereum running past the Bitcoin value is that Ethereum and Bitcoin will actually merge. I think that is more probable than Ethereum actually gaining more value, more price value than Bitcoin.
You think Ethereum and Bitcoin are eventually going to merge?
I think no. I said it's more probable that they would merge versus Ethereum reaching a higher price point than Bitcoin. Meaning right now it's at $2,800. Bitcoin's at 41,000.
Oh, I see.
I don't see Ethereum getting to 41,000 and outpacing Bitcoin.
Right.
If it did, that'd be great. But I think what would be more probable is that you're going to have a merge between Ethereum and Bitcoin, and it's going to be one type of entity that's going to rule the smart contract NFT world. And then I see XRP, Doge, Cardano, and a few others all operating within the same system as a currency, alternative currency to fiat.
Yeah, interesting. You know, I guess I would slightly differ with you in terms of I do think it's a fair probability that Ethereum will eventually jockey for that number one spot there long term. And I think that's obviously what...
You think one Ethereum will reach $500,000 or $1 million a pop?
No, I don't think that. What I do
you think Bitcoin can?
I think it. I think it can.
Then that's your answer.
Well, the thing is though, you got to account for how many Ethereum there are going to be versus how many Bitcoin there are going to be. So, Bitcoin's obviously has that hard cap where Ethereum doesn't. So I think over a period of time, I think it'll take a while, but I think over a period of time, we could see Ethereum rival the market cap of Bitcoin for that reason.
I don't see that. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion. I just don't see it. I see Bitcoin store of value at $500,000 to $1 million a pop. I think Ethereum could be in the $20,000 to $30,000 a piece range. I think it'll be between $7,000 and $10,000 by the end of this year for Ethereum, and I think it'll be close to $80,000 to $100,000 for Bitcoin. But in my lifetime, if I were to have a child, which I don't, not that I'm aware of, not being garnished. In in my lifetime or the next generation lifetime, I don't think Ethereum will outsurpass the value of Bitcoin. It would be more probable, in my opinion, that they work together and become, co-partners or merge or something like that. Because it happens all the time. I mean, look at all these major corporations that are competitors. It happens all the time. At one point, eventually, one or two or four of these companies merge together. One buys the other one out. Now, these are decentralized. They're not incorporated. But they sure do act like it lately.
Yeah.
So if they can complement each other, it would be stupid not to do that. And there's no reason in the world they can't coexist. We coexist today. People are dead set on their specific coin, and they argue about another coin. And that's their opinion. That's fine. Do that. Take the toxicity out of it. Have it an educated, defined argument, and agree to disagree when you have to. But we should all be rooting for all of crypto because we have to coexist if this is going to work. If we're going to beat the man and beat legislation and beat the Fed and the SEC, we have to stay true to our world of decentralization and let them control these exchanges where we buy, sell, and trade on to make sure they're not doing frivolous shit. And they're protecting the retail investor and the small investor, which I'm telling you, after this AMC GameStop fiasco and the Robinhood issue, during that period of time, I truly believe the Fed and the SEC is going to get their shit together, and they're going to make some changes that will improve our life as it relates to our exchanges and where we buy and sell and trade this stuff. But we can remain decentralized and coexist together. We just got to get there, and it's pardon my French, we're 9 months into this, guys. I know it's been around since 2012, 2010, and things like that, but the celebrityism, the knowledge that people have of this cryptocurrency and its current situation is global now. But still, we are under 1% of the planet owns any crypto. If we get to 10% of 7.5 billion people, and we can solve 10% of the 1.5 billion unbanked, Jesus Christ, this crypto could be worth a lot of money. And all we got to do is go up 9 percentage points.
Yeah.
We just take 10% of the pie. That's it.
Yeah. It really does put things in perspective when you word it that way, and it's something I think about quite a bit too. When you consider just the fraction of the global population that currently owns any cryptocurrency versus what is a decent probability. I think 10% within our lifetimes is totally doable. And at that point, those of us who are in now, I've often...
There's a lot of countries where their currency is crashing, and a lot of people that can't even have bank, even when the currency is good.
Right.
We just solved that problem, and we can get 5 to 10% of that. If we solve that problem, we've gained that 9 basis point bump.
Well, we are seeing moves in that direction throughout South America, and most notably El Salvador. Speaking of which, the president of El Salvador did release a statement on this yesterday, and the data that's coming out right now is pretty extraordinary considering when you look at how many people are actively using and buying Bitcoin. And I thought
their government gave some, right?
Yeah, and the government's buy accumulating big time right now during the dip. That's exact. The new president of El Salvador literally used the terminology when asked about, when questioned if he thought Bitcoin was a good idea and what his plan was during this market downturn. He said, "We're buying."
He
the
looks
dip.
just like David Goshkind.
He does.
He looks just like him. I tell David that all the time. I said, "When are you going back to Venezuela, Dave?"
They do have a similar profile.
Geez, what are you doing in New York, President? I mean, come on.
I noticed something you said a bit earlier, Chad. I wanted to circle back to you on it. You said that you feel that Robinhood and Vlad still could get prosecuted for what they did with market interference on GameStop and Dogecoin.
No, I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know if it's not Dogecoin. It's the GameStop AMC. That thing's not gone away yet.
Right.
And there's been recent news reports that they're actually investigating much deeper into this. Even yesterday on CNBC, they were basically tearing apart their liquidity statement. Two execs said we had to make sure we had enough liquidity. That's why we stopped trading.
Right.
And Vlad was on TV saying we absolutely have no liquidity problem. They've been contradicting themselves, and they're investigating it much more deeper now. So I don't think it's a prosecutable event, but I think it's going to be a major fine.
Right.
Which may impact them now that they're a public company. Their stock price can go from 40 where it's at now, $40, $45. It could tube down to 20, $22.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be a player in this market all the time, unless the payment for order flow goes away, which they're looking into also. Their entire premise of their business model is based on payment for order flow.
Yeah.
And you got a nice $50 super chat there from NetPro.
Hey, NetPro Family Values come with some big Doge energy, helping to keep my lights on over here. I really, really appreciate that very much. $50 super chat.
I think they're not out of the water yet.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Another great episode, much learning. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. NetPro, haven't seen you in the mix for a while, so great to see you back, and thank you so much for that. Yeah, so that's a bit of a spicy take. I haven't really heard many people talk about that, and now that you mention it, they're not out of the woods, and their reputation's not out of the woods yet.
When I talk about education and paying attention, folks in the room and on Twitter chats and spaces, you really need to just educate yourself. Pay attention to these news medias, because if you're in crypto, this type of stuff affects you. Mm-hmm. And if you're not up to speed on this stuff, you can't make an educated decision on which one to invest in. And you're playing the lottery. So get educated, keep your skin in the game, and don't ever stop learning about this. I created my own GigaChad BSC token. And the only reason I did that, it's not out there for sale. I'm not doing anything with it yet. The only reason I did this is that I want to learn how the cryptocurrency was created. It was a training exercise for me. Mm-hmm. And I learned it. And, wallets. I put $20 or $50 in 5 different exchanges. And I played with all 5 of those, moving money. Buying crypto, selling crypto, trading it, move it from their exchange to my bank account and back. I wanted to see which one was easiest, fastest, cheapest. And I determined that Binance US was my best platform to use for day trading. And FTX, which used to be Blackfolio, is my best holding portfolio, because I'm earning 8% just for it sitting there, and they pay it out every hour. And I use crypto.com for my Ethereum hold, because they're paying me, not crypto.com, Coinbase. They're paying me 5% for staking Ethereum. Mm-hmm. I do some staking, but also keep in mind, folks, when you stake, you open the door for shorts. And the reason I say that is because when you stake, that's when people can borrow and lend that currency and short it. They can borrow that money that you've got staked.
Mm-hmm. NetPro Fan Vaz coming again, $10 super chat. NetPro is Donna. I always have a difficult name. I know I always mispronounce this. I think it's Tabuchi, but I'm not sure if that's right. Tabuki or Tabuchi? Tabuchi, right? Yeah, Donna Tabuchi's bit. Donna, thank you so much. Thank you for the clarification, and thank you for your longtime support of the show. We really appreciate you here on the channel.
She sounds like a Jersey girl.
Definitely. It sounds like it to me. That was my Italian. Italian for sure, with no doubt
I
about
just
that.
watched the Jersey Boys last night. I love that movie.
Oh, it's been a long time since I watched that one.
Frankie Valley and the Four Seasons, man.
You know what movie that
It was Clint Eastwood directed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's a heck of a director. You know, one I watched for the first time in a long time a few nights ago that really stands the test of time was the Fabulous Baker Brothers. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Was that Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, and his brother, Bo.
And then his brother. Yeah. And that was a really well done movie. It really holds up. I think you raise a lot of great points here. Chad. You know,
that's why I'm here, buddy.
You know,
I'm not here to push FUD.
Right. So, a Bitcoin magazine, I saw in an article. They had an article that just came out today with the title that said, "New Twitter integration will drive the Bitcoin price above 300,000." Now, obviously, they're speaking about the Twitter integration that's happening, wherein Bitcoin will be an option for tipping on the platform. I think Ethereum's coming as well. Do you see Bitcoin as being a successful catalyst for tipping on Twitter?
No.
Yeah.
I see it occurring between Bitcoiners.
Yeah, between Bitcoiners, right?
I don't see it going outside of the Bitcoin sphere.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's digital gold. It's store of value. 99% of these people, are hodlers because they believe it's going to get to that $500,000 to $1 million mark too after the next halving. They don't want to spend this.
Right.
They just don't.
Right.
No one's buying AMC tickets and popcorn with Bitcoin. Maybe these millionaires with it are doing it just to prove a point. But the general community, especially the ones that don't buy full Bitcoin, they're buying fractions of it. They're buying it for one reason and one reason only, to increase their net worth. And you can't do that by selling your portfolio when it's not reached the number you believe it's going to reach. So whether you believe Bitcoin's going to reach 100 grand, 500 grand, 1 million, 10 million, doesn't matter what that number is. These people that hold Bitcoin, whatever their number is, if it's not there yet, they're not using it. They are just building their bag, which is exactly what I'm doing.
Trucking All Day coming in with a $2 super chat. Uncle Chad, T2, T1, or T0?
T0.
There you
go. That will occur. It'll be immediate transactions that occur through the clearinghouses. For those of you who don't know, T3 is, the deadline 3 days or 2 days or 1 day or same day when they do the clearinghouse for your buy and sell transactions through the market.
Chad, how much longer can Jack Dorsey ignore Dogecoin? How much longer can BitBoy Crypto ignore Dogecoin? Particularly when I think
about ignoring them.
Well, they're certainly marginalizing Dogecoin to a great degree. I mean, when you hear
they're Bitcoin maxis and they're going with Bitcoin first, and when they realize that Bitcoin isn't being transacted throughout the global sphere, it's only occurring within the Bitcoin sphere, they're going to have to find an alternative. And the only reason Bitcoin is now able for tipping is because the B word. Elon brought it up. Why don't you allow tipping with Bitcoin on your platform? 1 month later, it's been created. 1 month after Elon asked him to do it. All he did was lift his shoulders and goes, "Hey, smart idea." I think that B word conference was brilliant. I think Kathy Woods is the smartest female investor on the planet.
I'm a big fan.
Big fan.
I think
they got to test it somewhere. They're not going to break out 5 different currencies for tipping on Twitter. They're going to test it with something first, and obviously they're going to utilize the coin that they're most invested in.
So you think that you think there is a high likelihood that Doge will be integrated in the Twitter tipping system?
Yep.
Well, I hope you're right. One of one of the more brilliant things that happened in that B Word conference, in my opinion, was I loved how Elon kept framing everything within what he considered to be the big three. It was a very subtle thing, but it was a very effective thing. Where
Elon was just being Elon. He knows what he's doing. I'm never going to bet against that man.
Right.
Why would you?
Why would you with that track record?
Why would you? Yeah. Why would you bet against one of the top 5 wealthiest men on the planet, who's nothing but a humanitarian? He just donated $50 million to St. Jude. I didn't see Bezos pony up $50 million.
Right.
And people are worried about Bezos and his space things. Eventually those guys are going to end up, I believe, going to have to coexist. They're going to end up having to utilize one or the other's, technology platforms for something. And again, competition creates innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Without Ford, there's no General Motors. Without AC, there's no DC.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And I love it. But Jeff Bezos is no longer Amazon. There's a new CEO there, and he's all tech.
Yeah.
Bezos is focused on philanthropy and his space flutes.
Yeah, I mean, he was very successful launching that giant dong into space, and a rocket too. So, I
don't care what it looks like, as long as it's successful. It's fine with me.
Yeah, no, it's the rivalry's been pretty funny to watch. Kind of.
And they both thanked each other too, right? When Jeff's thing went up, and then what's his name from Virgin, Sir
Richard Branson.
Yeah, Branson. When his shit went up, and then they all got on Twitter and thanked each other.
Yeah.
So regardless of what we say on Twitter, they know what's going on. They're behind the scenes. They're still talking to each other.
Sure.
These guys don't open up to all of us of every single daily conversation or transaction that occurs. They're smart like that. Mm-hmm. That's how they got where they're at.
Mm-hmm. Crypto Daniel, welcome to membership, and thank you for signing up to be a member. And just to let you know, Crypto Daniel, if you're already not familiar, and anyone else listening, membership starts at just $4 a month. There's 3 different tiers of membership there. In return, you get a heck of a lot of members-only exclusive content, from videos to live streams. I pretty regularly do members-only live streams where we take even a deeper dive into a lot of the things we talk about here, and I share with you my personal portfolio and my logic and some of the things that I'm working on behind the scenes, and we just have a lot of fun over there.
Plug your Dogecoin NFT. Plug it. I hear about it. I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Matt Walt got together and you're doing an NFT project.
Well, it's not. So this is what happened with Dogecoin is actually what a lot of people. There's a lot of things a lot of people don't quite know about the project that I'm trying to do my best to educate folks on. And Dogecoin actually isn't Matt's project. It's 3 developers that came together and implemented this idea they had been working on for a long time, and then they came to a few.
You guys are you're the promoters for it.
Yeah, they came to a few. They went directly to the source to a few Doge-centric content creators, and I examined this thing pretty hard. The developers of DogeX are longtime Dogecoin holders, and they have a deep interest in the development of the metaverse into leveraging the DogeX project in whatever way they can to advance Dogecoin into the NFT scene more. And so they've been taking a lot of they've been working on a lot of development behind the scenes in that regard as well, and it's just a lot of fun. We're having a good time.
Well, what is it? What is it?
Well, it's an NFT project. So there were 10,000 NFTs minted, and there's a lot of detailing of it compared to most other projects of its size. And then
OpenSea, Rarible, where's it at?
OpenSea, and then you can buy it directly. You can mint them still directly off of the website. We're about 70% minted right now, 30% to go, and then you can also buy on OpenSeas as well. And yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
Right now?
What's that?
What's your average floor right now? What are you getting on?
I think about
half a feet.
A bit more, yeah, around there, a bit more than I think. 0.6 there. Yeah, so I think right now we're actually there have been more sales lately. There are 2 more sales for some Moon. They're called Moon. There's different tiers of rarity, and this one's there are 2 that sold today. The Moon ones that are they're actually one of the more common ones, and they both sold for 2 ETH a piece, which pretty darn good. And then one of the rarest ones sold for about 11 ETH, and then another one sold for a couple sold for 7 ETH. So yeah, obviously these are bullish signs. I'm doing whatever I can to make hustle and work as hard as I can on this project to make it as successful as I can make it and do right by the investors. And yeah, it's just a fun team. It's a cool team, and they're looking real long term with it, and they're looking to right now they're building bridges within the capacity of that space between Ethereum and Doge. And I just really like that the founders of the project are longtime Doge holders and are just trying to leverage the DogeX project to help advance Dogecoin any way they can, which is important to me. So
I bought the Anthony Hopkins movie NFT No Contact yesterday.
Yeah.
At midnight.
Yeah.
And I got a 1 of 1 of 10. It's the very first movie.
Oh wow. Oh, that's wow.
Yeah, NFT. And it's still for sale. But I got in real early. I got 1 of 1 and 2 of the 1 of 10s.
You got a 1 of 1?
Yep. I got it at $37 and the other one was at $72. Now it's in my OpenSea platform, and I can watch the movie through OpenSea on the NFT and just do the mirroring to my TV.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's called No Contact. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think you might be really holding on to a gem there, Chad.
That's why I bought it. I'm smart like that.
No, seriously,
I don't buy crap, man.
Well, Chad, what do you see? What do you see for coming out? What I've been looking at, all the charting and the analysis that I've been doing on my end, I'm looking at a pretty high probability of breaking out of this bearishness into pretty bullish trends, shaping up to starting at around mid-October, and then probably remaining fairly bullish for the next couple months. What are you seeing?
Well, I believe when we get to the bullish fear, it'll probably be a 3-4 month term. I don't see it in October. I see it December, January. And the reason I say that is, again, I think the next biggest thing that's going to occur that's going to affect this market in a positive way is the lawsuit. And I don't see that ending until, end of the fourth quarter. Could be next month, but God knows how long it's going to take them to implement everything. Once they quit suspension of buying and selling on the U.S. exchanges for XRP, because right now the only place I can buy is on Uphold, which is fine because I bought it on Uphold. I took a minute to get verified, and I was able to buy XRP.
Right.
Just download the app called Uphold. But if you go to Coinbase or crypto, you can't buy it. It says suspended.
Right.
So I don't know. Middle of October, possible. Everything's pure speculation right now. It just depends on how well this market, recovers from this bearish part. And I think a lot of it has to do with this COVID shit. People have to be able to get out and spend their money and The economy's got to get back to better. People got to get more jobs. People that way they've got money to spend on this stuff.
Yeah. Those are all very astute observations, in my opinion. I have to hightail it to I actually, believe it or not, I gotta go to my business yet this evening and get some work done before tomorrow. So I got to start winding.
Yeah, it's 2:00 in the morning here, so
got to start winding this one up.
Being on the store.
Hey, it was great to have you back on. Always great catching up with you, Chad, and I know the audience here is fond of you as well. So we gotta circle you back in soon.
Anytime. We got to do a video feed. So I can wear my cowboy hat.
Well, I started actually. Nick and I just did our first live video feed of this show yesterday. So I am starting to integrate video feeds in here. How about this? Next time you're on, you wear your cowboy hat, I'll wear my cowboy hat. Well, it'll be the crypto cowboy edition.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me, Steven. Y'all take care, and I'm going to go walk the dog and then go to bed. Love you guys.
All right. Thank you, Chad. Great to hear from you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Uncle Chad, a.k.a. Chad Paxton. Look him up on Twitter. He's easy to find, and it's always great to have him in the mix here. Guys, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I would encourage you to do so. In my opinion, this channel is popping off. This community is popping off. We're having a great time here. We're not only integrating with the podcast format, we're doing video format too. I've broken out into doing daily. Now I do daily video shorts you can find on the channel as well. Doing membership streams, 3 to 4 exclusive membership streams a week. So we are on the move. This is a channel, this is a community that's absolutely on the move. Steven Steele is bullish. The Steven Steele community is bullish. So folks, if you haven't already become a member, might want to consider that. It's just little as $4 a month. Anyway, thank you so much, each and every one of you guys. And I will see you soon, more than likely tomorrow night, around the same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, this is Steven Steele, signing out.
Just the bees and birds, the summer hay.